Jokic just went off again. 18 triple-doubles this season. 18. The gap between him and the next player with 8 isn't even close. That level of production isn't just impressive, it's downright historic. And somehow, he does it all while making it look casual. Let's talk about the numbers. 20 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. That's an all-around masterpiece. He was everywhere, doing everything. Only 30 minutes on the floor, and it still felt like he owned every moment. No wasted movement, no extra effort, just pure, calculated execution. It's as if he's playing chess, while everyone else is stuck on checkers. The Nuggets are on a roll, winning 6 of their last 7 games. And it's no mystery why. Jokic isn't just leading the team, he's lifting them to another level. His consistency is mind-blowing. Game after game, he delivers like clockwork. And it's not just the triple-doubles, it's how he does it. He's unselfish, always finding the open man. But when the moment calls for it, he's ready to take over. His ability to switch gears between facilitator and scorer keeps defenses completely off balance. What really stands out is his basketball IQ. Jokic reads the game like a book. He knows where every player is supposed to be, both his teammates and the opposition. That's why his passes feel like magic tricks. They're not just accurate, they're perfectly timed and executed with precision. And when he's not dishing out assists, he's crashing the boards with authority. 14 rebounds in 30 minutes. That's elite level work. The steals and blocks show just how active he is defensively. 3 steals and 3 blocks aren't just stats, they're statements. He's not taking plays off. He's engaged on both ends of the floor, and that's what makes him so dominant. He's not just putting up numbers, he's controlling every aspect of the game. It's almost unfair how good he is at everything, and it's not like his opponents don't know what's coming. Teams prepare for him, throw double teams at him, try to push him out of his comfort zone, but it doesn't matter. Jokic adjusts, adapts, and then dominates anyway. Whatever the defense takes away, he finds another way to impact the game. It's that ability to constantly reinvent himself during the game that makes him so unstoppable. Jokic doesn't play with the flashiness of some other stars, but that's what makes him even more impressive. He's efficient, calculated, and relentless. He doesn't need to rely on explosive athleticism because his skill set is so refined. It's a masterclass in fundamentals, combined with creativity, and it's why he's the backbone of this Nuggets team. When you watch him, it's clear he's not just playing basketball, he's orchestrating it. Every possession feels like it's happening on his terms. Even when the Nuggets are running the floor, he's the one dictating the pace, whether it's with an outlet pass or positioning himself for the rebound. His control over the game is something you rarely see, even at the highest level. 18 triple-doubles and counting. It's hard to wrap your head around that kind of dominance. And he's doing it without ever chasing stats. Everything he does serves the team. That's what separates him from the rest. He's not just filling up the box score, he's making everyone around him better. It's the hallmark of a truly great player, and it's why Jokic is so special. This isn't just a great season for him, it's a masterpiece in the making. Every game feels like another brushstroke on a canvas that's shaping up to be one of the best careers in recent memory. He's elevating his team, dominating the league, and redefining what it means to be an MVP-level player. They're lucky to have a generational talent like him, and he's proving it every single night. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, Jokic and Westbrook together is just something special. 2 elite creators on the same team means defenses are constantly scrambling. The Nuggets are moving the ball with precision, always finding the best possible shot, and it is paying off in a big way. They are not just winning games, they are dominating them. 10 straight wins in games Jokic has played, and it is not even close. They are winning by an average of 16 points per game in those matchups. That is the definition of taking care of business. This team is quietly becoming a serious problem for the league. They are controlling the pace, dictating every possession, and making it impossible for defenses to settle in. The mainstream media might not be talking about it, but the way this team is built gives them a huge advantage. Having 2 players who can create offense at an elite level means they are never forcing bad shots. The ball moves until the best option is available, and more often than not, that is an efficient look inside the arc. They are not relying on 3-pointers to bail them out. They are getting high percentage shots, and that is what makes them so dangerous. This stretch of basketball is not just impressive, it is flat out dominant. The way they are dismantling teams right now, it is clear they are playing some of their best basketball of the season. They are locked in, and with Jokic leading the charge, they are looking like a team nobody wants to face. The way they are playing, it is not just about winning. It is about sending a message every single night. I want to talk about the MVP race real quick though. Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are locked in one of the most competitive MVP races in recent memory. Jokic has been putting up MVP level numbers for years, and this season is no different. But Shai has been making a strong case of his own, leading the league in scoring while impacting the game in ways that have turned him into one of the most valuable players in basketball. It is a battle between two completely different styles. Jokic's all-around dominance versus Shai's relentless efficiency. No matter how it plays out, this race is going down to the wire. Jokic is stuffing the stat sheet every single night, averaging 30.4 points per game, which is third in the league. Meanwhile, Shai is leading all scorers with 31.6. That is a slight edge in scoring for Shai, but it does not tell the whole story. Jokic is not just a scorer, he is the ultimate playmaker. He ranks second in the league in assists with 9.9 per game, creating countless opportunities for his teammates. Shai, while still a strong facilitator, is averaging 6 assists, ranking 24th. That is a major difference. Jokic does not just create his own offense, he makes the entire team better with his passing. Rebounding is another area where Jokic has a massive advantage. He is averaging 13.1 rebounds per game, ranking third in the league. That kind of rebounding dominance is rare for a player who also leads his team in assists. On the other hand, Shai is averaging 5.4 rebounds, ranking 66th. It is not a knock on Shai. He plays a different position, but it highlights just how complete Jokic's game is. He controls the glass, secures second chance points, and eliminates easy opportunities for opponents. Shooting efficiency is where things get interesting. Both players are incredibly efficient, but Jokic holds a slight edge. His effective field goal percentage is 61, ranking higher than 89% of players. His true shooting percentage is an elite 64.3. Shai, on the other hand, has an effective field goal percentage of 58 and a true shooting percentage of 63.6. That is still elite, but Jokic's ability to score so efficiently while also being the best passer in the game gives him a unique edge. The advanced stats make this race even tighter. Jokic's offensive rating is 125.4, which is a direct reflection of how much his presence boosts his team's scoring efficiency. Shai is not far behind, with an offensive rating of 121. Defensively, Shai actually holds an advantage, posting a defensive rating of 103.2 compared to Jokic's 113.2. That gives Shai a slightly better net rating at plus 17.8, while Jokic is at plus 12.3. This is where the debate really starts to heat up. Jokic is a game changer on both ends, but Shai has been one of the most impactful two-way players in the league this season. On-off numbers show just how valuable both players are to their teams. When Jokic is on the floor, his team's net points per 100 possessions improves by 13.9. That is absurd, but Shai is right there with him, improving his team's net rating by 13.1 when he is on the floor. The biggest difference? Team success in those moments. In games where Shai has a positive plus-minus, his team wins 90% of the time. Jokic's team wins 71.4% of those games. That means when Shai is playing well, his team almost never loses. That kind of impact cannot be ignored. Another major factor in this race is narrative. Jokic has already won multiple MVP awards, and there is always a debate about whether voters want to give another one to the same player or crown someone new. Shai is having the best season of his career, leading the league in scoring while being an elite defender. That kind of storyline always plays a role in MVP races. It is not just about stats. It is about who is having the most memorable season. Jokic's argument comes down to his all-around brilliance. He scores, rebounds, facilitates, and makes everyone around him better. His efficiency is unmatched for a player who handles the ball as much as he does, and his impact on the game is undeniable. Shai's case is built on his scoring dominance and defensive presence. He is putting up the best numbers of his career while leading his team to one of the best records in the league. At the end of the day, this MVP race is one of the closest in the years. Both players have legitimate cases, and no matter who wins, there will be debates about whether the voters got it right. Jokic has the all-around dominance. Shai has the scoring title and defense, and the decision will likely come down to how voters weigh those factors. One thing is for sure, both players have been incredible, and this is a race that will be talked about for years to come. I want to dig into Jokic's advanced offensive stats though. Nikola Jokic is putting up advanced offensive numbers this season that are absolutely ridiculous. His true shooting percentage sits at 64.4. putting him in the 92nd percentile. That means he is more efficient than almost every other player in the league when it comes to turning shot attempts into points. He is not just scoring a lot, he is doing it with elite efficiency. Every shot he takes is calculated, and it is why he remains one of the most reliable offensive players in the game. His shot quality rating is 71.6, ranking in the 85th percentile. That means the looks he is taking are among the highest quality in the league. He does not force bad shots, he does not take unnecessary risks, and he constantly puts himself in the best possible position to score. That level of discipline is why his efficiency remains so high season after season. Most players with his kind of offensive responsibility have to force tough shots, but Jokic does not. He picks his spots perfectly, maximizing every possession. Free throw rate is another key stat, and he is at 30.9%, which ranks in the 78th percentile. That means he is getting to the line at a strong rate, while still maintaining his elite efficiency. He is not just settling for tough shots, he is drawing contact, getting defenders off balance, and making the most of his opportunities at the line. That is what separates him from other high-scoring big men. Some players rely on free throws to boost their scoring number, but for Jokic, it is just another efficient tool in his arsenal. His three-point attempt rate is 20.3%, ranking in the 18th percentile. That number might seem low, but it tells an important story. Jokic is not relying on three-point shooting to be effective. He is dominating inside the arc, controlling the game with his footwork, touch, and passing. He does not need to jack up three-pointers to be a threat. He picks his spots, takes high-quality shots, and keeps defenses honest. He is choosing quality over quantity, and that is a major reason why his efficiency is so high. Offensive rebounding is another huge part of his game. He is averaging 1.1 offensive rebounds per game, which puts him in the 85th percentile. That means he is creating second chance opportunities at an elite rate. He is constantly keeping plays alive, giving his team extra possessions and making defenses work even harder to stop him. Rebounding is not just about size. It is about positioning, timing, and effort. Jokic excels in all three areas, and that is why he is so dangerous on the offensive glass. Turnovers are another key stat, and Jokic's turnover rate is 6.3%, ranking in the 80th percentile. That is an incredible number for someone who handles the ball as much as he does. He is making quick, smart decisions with the ball, and he rarely wastes possessions. Most players who run an offense turn the ball over way more often, but Jokic's ability to read the game, anticipate defenders, and make the right pass keeps his turnovers low. A player with his level of usage should be turning the ball over more, but he is controlling the game without making costly mistakes. Speaking of usage, offensive load is a key stat that measures how much responsibility a player carries on offense, and Jokic is at 65.9, ranking in the 100th percentile. That means no one in the league is carrying a bigger offensive burden. He is the engine of the offense, responsible for scoring, playmaking, and setting up his teammates. The entire system revolves around him, and he is handling that responsibility better than anyone. His offensive creation rating is 18.5, ranking in the 100th percentile. That means he is one of the best shot creators in the league, generating offense for himself and his teammates at an elite level. He is not just scoring, he is constantly creating scoring opportunities, making his teammates better, and keeping defenses guessing every second he is on the floor. Portability is another huge stat, and Jokic ranks in the 100th percentile with a rating of 9.5. This measures how well a player's skill set translates to different team structures. That means his game would work on any team, in any system, in any situation. He is not dependent on a specific style of play. He can fit anywhere, adjust to any lineup, and still dominate. Some stars need a certain system to succeed, but Jokic is a system on his own. His passer rating is 8.8, putting him in the 99th percentile. That is absurd for a big man. He is not just one of the best passers among centers. He is one of the best passers in the entire league. His ability to read the floor, find open teammates, and make the right play is unmatched for a player at his position. Finally, his crafted offensive plus minus is 5.9, ranking in the 100th percentile. That means his offensive impact is greater than nearly every other player in the league. He is not just scoring efficiently, he is elevating his entire team's offense. His presence on the floor makes the entire unit function at a higher level, and that is what makes him so valuable. Jokic's advanced stats prove that he is one of the most dominant offensive forces in the game today. He is efficient, unselfish, and completely in control every time he touches the ball. He is not just putting up numbers, he is changing the way offense is played at the highest level. When looking at true shooting percentage, he is at 64.4, which puts him in the 92nd percentile. That means almost no one is more efficient when it comes to turning shot attempts into points. A lot of players put up high scoring numbers, but very few do it as efficiently as Jokic. His shot quality rating at 71.6 tells the same story. He takes high quality shots, making sure every attempt is the best possible look. A lot of high usage players take bad shots just to get their numbers, but Jokic's patience and basketball IQ mean he is always getting the best look possible. Even when it comes to free throw rate, he is in the 78th percentile. That means he is getting to the line at a strong rate without having to rely on it to inflate his scoring numbers. Jokic's three-point attempt rate being in the 18th percentile shows that he does not need to live behind the arc. He is controlling the game inside, dominating in the mid-range, and finding his spots with ease. His offensive rebounding, turnover rate, and offensive creation rating all show that he is one of the most complete offensive players in the game today. Jokic is not just elite in one category, he is elite in everything. He scores, passes, rebounds, and creates offense at a level that very few players in history have ever matched. His advanced stats are proof that he is dominating in ways that go beyond the traditional box score. He is carrying the heaviest offensive load in the league, creating more offense than nearly every player, and doing it with some of the best efficiency ever seen. Jokic is not just a great player, he is a generational offensive force, and the numbers prove it, but his defense isn't slacking either. Nikola Jokic's advanced defensive numbers this season are proving that he is way more than just an offensive superstar. The stats show just how valuable he is on the defensive end, and it is time to break it all down. One of the biggest standouts in his defensive impact is deflections. He is averaging 3.6 deflections per game, ranking in the 92nd percentile. That means he is one of the best in the league at getting his hands on the ball and disrupting plays. Deflections are a huge part of defense that do not always show up in the box score. They force opponents into bad decisions, slow down offenses, and lead to steals or fast breaks. Jokic might not be known for his speed, but his basketball IQ and awareness make him one of the best at causing chaos in passing lanes. His defensive rebounding numbers are off the charts. He is averaging 2.2 defensive rebounds per game, putting him in the 98th percentile. That is an elite numberage, proving just how well he controls the glass. Defensive rebounding is not just about grabbing missed shots, it is about ending possessions, preventing second chance points, and setting up transition offense. When Jokic secures a rebound, he is immediately looking up the floor, finding teammates, and creating scoring opportunities. That is what makes him so dangerous. He turns defense into offense in an instant. His rim defense rating is negative 0.3, which ranks in the 43rd percentile. That might not seem like an elite number, but it tells a bigger story. Jokic is not a traditional shot blocking center, but he is still contesting shots at the rim and making it difficult for opponents to finish inside. He is not relying on pure athleticism. He is using positioning and timing to make sure opponents do not get easy baskets. He is forcing tougher shots, and that is a huge part of why his defensive impact is underrated. His rim frequency is 39.6%, ranking in the 72nd percentile. That means he is defending a high number of shots at the rim, proving that he is constantly involved in protecting the paint. Some centers avoid challenging shots to stay out of foul trouble, but Jokic is always positioning himself to alter shots and force opponents into tougher finishes. His block percentage is 1.6%, ranking in the 52nd percentile. That means he is not swatting shots at a high rate, but he is still getting his fair share of contests. Shot blocking is not everything when it comes to rim protection. It is about forcing players to take bad shots, adjusting their release, and making sure they do not get clean looks. Jokic is constantly making small adjustments that force opponents into tougher attempts. even if it does not always result in a block. His defensive versatility rating is 4, ranking in the 19th percentile. That means he is not switching onto guards as much as some other bigs, but that is not his role. His job is to hold down the paint, control the glass, and make sure his team is not giving up easy points inside. Some players thrive on switching and guarding every position, but Jokic's defensive impact comes from anchoring the middle and making smart reads. One of his most underrated skills is avoiding fouls. His relative personal foul rate is negative 0.6, ranking in the 81st percentile. That means he is not putting opponents on the free throw line, which is a huge advantage for his team. Some big men struggle with foul trouble, forcing them to play fewer minutes or be less aggressive on defense. But Jokic knows how to contest shots without committing unnecessary fouls, allowing him to stay on the court and keep making an impact. His crafted defensive plus-minus is 2.2, ranking in the 96th percentile. That is an elite number, proving that his presence on the floor is making a massive difference defensively. This stat does not just measure basic defensive numbers like blocks or steals, it calculates how much a player actually prevents points from being scored. The fact that Jokic is in the 96th percentile shows that he is one of the most impactful defensive players at his position. Jokic's defense does not always get the recognition it deserves, but the advanced stats prove that he is making a huge impact on that end of the floor. He is not a flashy shot blocker, but he is disrupting passing lanes, grabbing defensive boards, forcing tough shots, and keeping opponents from getting easy points. His deflections per game ranking in the 92nd percentile shows just how active he is defensively. Some players rely on size and strength, but Jokic's ability to read the game and anticipate passes makes him one of the best in the league at causing turnovers. His defensive rebounding ranking in the 98th percentile proves that he is one of the best in the league at ending possessions. Teams that struggle with defensive rebounding give up a lot of second chance points, but with Jokic on the floor, that is rarely an issue. He is always in the right place, securing boards and immediately looking for ways to push the ball up the floor. His rim defense rating might not be elite, but his rim frequency ranking in the 72nd percentile proves that he is involved in a high number of contests at the basket. He is not just standing in the paint. He is actively defending shots and making sure opponents have to work for every point inside. His block percentage ranking in the 52nd percentile shows that he is still getting his fair share of shot contests. He may not be leading the league in blocks, but he is still affecting shots at the rim and forcing players to adjust their finishes. His versatility ranking in the 19th percentile confirms that he is not switching onto perimeter players often, but that is because his role is to dominate the paint. He is not being asked to guard quick guards on the perimeter, but that does not mean he is not making a massive impact on defense. His low foul rate ranking in the 81st percentile is one of the biggest reasons he is able to stay on the floor for big minutes. Players who commit too many fouls end up having to play less aggressively, but Jokic knows how to defend without getting into foul trouble. Finally, his crafted defensive plus-minus ranking in the 96th percentile proves that his defensive impact is much bigger than people realize. Some fans focus only on steals and blocks, but this stat shows how much a player actually helps prevent the other team from scoring. Jokic is proving that he is not just an offensive force. He is a complete player who is making a huge impact on defense. The numbers do not lie. He is one of the smartest, most well-rounded defensive bigs in the game today. Overall, though, Nikola Jokic is not just dominating the game. He is changing basketball in a way that few players ever have. The way he plays forces teams to rethink everything about how a big man should operate. Traditional centers were once expected to focus on rebounding, rim protection, and interior scoring. Jokic has completely shattered that mold, proving that a center can be the primary playmaker, the most efficient scorer, and still anchor a defense. His ability to run an offense like a point guard, pass like a top-tier playmaker, and score with elite efficiency makes him one of the most unique superstars in NBA history. The impact of his game stretches beyond just his stats. He is changing the way teams build their rosters, the way coaches design offenses, and the way young players develop their skills. More teams are now looking for big men who can pass, shoot, and create for others, rather than just dominate in the paint. His play style has redefined what it means to be an MVP caliber player, proving that dominance is not just about scoring. It is about making everyone around you better. Jokic's influence is going to be felt for generations. Young centers are now working on their playmaking, improving their vision, and developing their ability to control the game like he does. The game is evolving, and Jokic is at the center of that transformation. His mix of skill, intelligence, and versatility has made him one of the most revolutionary players the sport has ever seen. He is not just playing basketball, he is reshaping it, and the league may never be the same because of it. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.